Today we'll be covering 3 problems in this video: quality, aesthetics, and daily drivability. Let's start with quality. As far as quality goes, there's no question that this is a tough truck. I mean, we've hit it with a guitar, we've seen people skate on it, ride their bikes on it. I mean, it's damn near bulletproof for God's sakes, but is that all that quality is? Strength? I've taken it off-roading several times, but I think inside is where you can really get a sense of the interior quality versus the toughness of the truck. I think it's 2 different things. So let's talk about quality. How about you follow me on the inside? Come on. So if we're talking about quality, we definitely need to talk about the recall that happened on this accelerator pedal. Tesla's put a bolt in it, so to speak, and this accelerator pedal was 2 pieces glued together that was coming undone. And that's a problem, because could you imagine if you were accelerating and that piece came off and now you're left with half a pedal and that piece is getting stuck down in the little carpet area? That's what was happening to people, and that's not good. And I feel like it was just highly avoidable. Thinking about it, the way they fixed it was super easy, but I'm just hoping that they don't overlook stuff like this in the future. I mean, I could have told you that was a bad idea, but yeah. There's definitely some more things to talk about in terms of quality, so let me show you. Okay, so I'm just gonna try something and see if you guys can hear this. So I'm gonna recline my chair. Okay, I'm stopping. I can't believe that. I can't stand that. When we talk about, you know, a first generation product, and that's fine, you know, there's other cars, there's other Teslas, but this squeakiness coming from just a really simple design flaw, that this seat is bolstered too much on the sides and it's rubbing against the center console. How could you not see that coming? But on top of that, not only just not seeing it coming, how could you ship it like that? I paid $100,000 for this plus tax. I can even do a price breakdown or throw that up on the screen for you guys. That's a lot of money to spend, and then every single time you go in and out of easy entry, which just means the seat is moving back and forth so you can literally just drive comfortably, and that's every time you get inside your car, you're gonna hear that stupid ass sound. And I'm just bringing it back up. I can't stand that. That's ridiculous. And it's not the only part of the Cybertruck that, sorry, there was a fly. There's not the only part of the Cybertruck that squeaks or creaks. So what I've noticed is, this is the driver's seat where the headliner is. And like, this bit is so squeaky and creaky. All right, I'm done. I'm done with the inside. In terms of quality, let's look at the outside a little bit. It looks like there's this plastic seal, or I don't know, it's not a seal, it's like a weather stripping, whatever you want to call it. It's been jutting out since day of delivery, and from the side you can truly see that. It just doesn't look good. Just fix that. Like, it's not that hard. You can push that in, or I could push it in. Like, I could take a tool and just shove that in, I guess, but small stuff like that shouldn't be happening. And it's just like really unfortunate that that's actually a thing. And as long as we're on the outside and we're talking about quality, we just have to talk about this. So you see, like, it wanted to go for a second. It's not going there. Okay, now it's going. This is the most, I gotta talk to you. This is the most crazy, stupid part of the Cybertruck that doesn't work. I want to say 80-90% of the time. I thought this was fixed. It's just like, maybe, I don't know what's wrong, the wiring, maybe it's just this button, it doesn't get the electricity input. I can't even press the trunk button without, like, I feel like I'm playing a PlayStation game. Like, I gotta jam this thing until it, like, decides to work. So this is my view when I'm driving a Tesla Cybertruck, and hit the brake, it turns on, pulls you into the seat, and squeaks a little. But in terms of daily drivability, I have a really bad wrist. I've been going through some things, like it doesn't really move side to side too well. So if I'm gonna turn the wheel, turning a bunch of times is high effort for me. So let's say I turn this. So this is as far as it turns. And if you put this in reverse and you look at the camera, look at those lines, you are only turning that much and you're getting a full turn with minimal effort. This steer-by-wire system, this is the best thing that has ever happened to cars. So we should probably talk about accelerating, braking, and regen braking, because that's just something most people aren't used to. So my thoughts on regen braking are pretty straightforward. I feel like you should just get used to it because most vehicles are headed in that direction anyway, and it's going to help you with your brakes lasting a lot longer. It's going to help with, well, normal brake pads. You just have to know that there's a separate set of brakes working for you and taking the stress off of your normal brakes and putting it on that regen braking system, which lasts pretty much forever. So you're never going to have to worry about that, but you're getting energy back and you're saving your normal brakes. So a lot of people go a long time without ever changing their brake pads. Like, why wouldn't you want that? Now, do I think that Tesla should allow you to adjust the harshness of regenerative braking? Yes, because a lot of my friends and family and just daily drivers, if we're talking about daily drivability, they can't control the fact that there's just like a little bit of an ebb and flow problem, and that equilibrium is just not working out for them. Some things, a lot like regenerative braking, can give them motion sickness. And if you just give people the option, then more people might be inclined to buy EVs. Now, the last thing I wanted to touch on in terms of daily drivability is this being a family truck, maybe the perfect family truck. You hit open tailgate, open tonneau cover, and even open frunk. And I'm going to show you how much space there actually is in a Cybertruck. If you look at this tailgate, it's dropped. That's more than 6 feet. That from there forward is 6 feet. You have ambient lighting on the sides, a ton of storage, and even more storage down there, which is pretty much all I end up using, unless I'm helping my friends move stuff. If I do help my friends move stuff, that does actually happen sometimes. They're really happy that I have a truck I can do that with. There's the guitar. It makes an appearance in all of my videos. That frunk is decently sized too. And I would venture to say that most families probably won't need more space than this. I've seen people fill up way smaller SUVs or cars at Costco with ease. So if you're doing your Costco run for the kids, I promise you, you're probably not gonna need more than that. You can even buy under-seat storage for the inside of this truck, bringing the daily drivability to basically like the perfect truck to drive daily. I really like that. So we need to talk about aesthetics because 90% of my family and friends think this thing looks like a garbage truck. And I have to agree to some extent, but that doesn't mean it's not freaking sick. I think it's the coolest truck I've ever seen, and in fact, I think it might be built for me. But that brings me to my next point. You should never really buy something based on what other people think, only what you think. And does this thing look weird? Yes, 100% it looks crazy. I mean, it's not built for everybody. Like, not every car is. Which brings me to my next point. You should only buy a product because of the way it makes you feel, the things that you like, because you're gonna be seeing this every day if you purchase it, or whatever car you decide to get, or whatever house. So if you keep thinking about what other people think, it's only really gonna please them. And honestly, I don't care what other people think. And I barely ever get out this advice, but you should never care what other people think. It only matters what I think. And at the end of the day, I'm pretty stoked. Oh. I am so happy that I got to make a Cybertruck 10,000 mile update for you guys. It's been so long since I made a video like this and just picked up the camera, and it felt really good. So thank you so much. And I always say this, I will see you next time.